All right, let's talk about something that's shaking up the world of science. AI. It's everywhere, right? And it's completely changing the game for how researchers work, how they discover new things, and even how they write. But, and this is a big but, this incredible new power comes with some really tough questions. Questions about honesty, who owns what, and, what it even means to be a scientist today.
So, let's just get right to the heart of it. Can a machine actually write science? I mean, really think about that. This isn't just some techie question. It cuts right to the core of what science is all about. Trust. Because if you can't trust what you're reading in a research paper, then what's the point? The whole system kind of falls apart. So yeah, let's dig into that.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the good stuff. The incredible promise of AI. And look, we're not just talking about a slightly better assistant here. For a lot of scientists, this is like getting a superpower. It is a total game changer for speeding up discovery.
And when I say speed up, I mean, it's just mind-blowing. Think about a task like digging through mountains of data that used to take a team of researchers months to get through. Well, with AI, that can now be done in a matter of hours. That's not just a little faster, that's a full-on revolution. It's changing the timeline from data to actual discovery.
But it's not just about speed, not by a long shot. AI has the potential to make science more, fair. It can level the playing field, right? So researchers in countries with fewer resources can suddenly get their hands on these super powerful tools. It can also help us spot our own human biases by just looking at the raw data. And what's really cool is how it connects ideas from totally different fields, like biology and computer science, to help us tackle the really big problems, the stuff like climate change.
Okay, so it all sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch. With all that power comes a whole new can of worms. We're talking about really complex, tricky problems that, honestly, we're just starting to figure out how to even think about.
And that brings us to the first big one. Let's say an AI helps write a part of a paper, maybe just a paragraph, or maybe a whole section. Who is the author? Who gets the credit? I mean, where's the line between a helpful tool, like a spell checker, and a co-author? It really starts to blur what we even consider human work.
So what's happened is this crazy cat and mouse game has started. You've got journals and universities trying to protect the integrity of research. And on the other side, you've got the AI. So this whole new field has popped up, all about finding the ghost in the research, trying to spot the digital tracks that AI leaves behind. So how do they even do that? How do these detection tools work? Well, they're looking for a few telltale signs. For one, AI text can sometimes sound a little too perfect, It doesn't have the weird quirks or little mistakes that a human writer does. From a math perspective, its choice of words is often super predictable. And get this, some AI models are even being designed to leave a hidden watermark, like a secret digital signature on everything they write.
But here's the problem. It's not a perfect system. Not even close. Because the AI is getting smarter. It's learning how to hide better. It's not just writing better sentences. It's learning to copy our flaws, to sound more human. It's a classic arms race, The detectors are always one step behind the new and improved AI.
And this whole issue with spotting AI in one paper, it points to a much, much bigger problem. The problem of control. Forget about just one author for a second. We need to ask, who actually owns these incredibly powerful tools? And, more importantly, who owns the knowledge that was used to build them?
Just think about how this works. You've got the entire global science community, researchers all over the world, creating all this data, publishing papers, building data sets, all of it. Then, a few huge tech companies come along, scoop up all that public knowledge, and use it to train their AI. So what you end up with is this weird situation where knowledge created by everybody ends up becoming a product owned and controlled by just a handful of corporations. And that's a huge risk, right? There's a real question of fairness here. If we're not careful, the scientific community could literally lose ownership of the knowledge that we all created together. That's why you're hearing more and more talk about creating open source models, ways for everyone to benefit from this tech without just giving the keys to the kingdom to a few big players.
Okay, I know this all sounds a little doom and gloom, but the point isn't to hit the brakes on AI. That's not going to happen. The real question, the one we all have to figure out, is this. How do we find the right balance? How do we use this amazing power without throwing out the values that make science, science?
And the key to finding that balance is actually pretty straightforward. It's about using AI as a tool, not a replacement. Think of it like this. AI is a super fast car. It can get you to your destination way quicker, sure, but someone has to be in the driver's seat.
A human has to steer, make the decisions, and ultimately be responsible. It's about boosting our own thinking, not outsourcing it.
So what does that actually look like for a researcher day to day? Let's break down some clear rules for using AI the right way.
It really boils down to 4 basic principles. A simple checklist. Number 1, you are responsible, period. You're the author, the buck stops with you. Number 2, verify everything. Don't just trust what the AI spits out. Check it, double check it. Number 3, respect other people's work. Don't use AI to plagiarize or misuse intellectual property. And finally, number 4, be transparent. Just say that you used AI and how you used it. It's not about giving the AI credit, it's about being honest.
And if we all follow these rules, what it means is that the job of a scientist is changing. It's becoming less about just churning out data and a lot more about being the smart guide, the expert who can steer these powerful tools and double-check their work. It's all about keeping the human in the loop.
So the modern researcher needs a new toolkit, a new set of skills. You've got to understand how these AIs work, and just as important, what they're bad at. You have to be an expert at verifying things and approach every AI-generated result with a good dose of skepticism. And things like ethics and transparency, those aren't soft skills anymore. They're absolutely essential.
Which brings us right back to where we started. An AI can write words, sure, but it can't be an author. Why? Because it can't take responsibility. An AI doesn't have ethics. It can't defend its own work in a debate. It can't be held accountable. Only a human can do that. And that responsibility has to stay with us, always.
So at the end of the day, here's the takeaway. AI is an incredible, powerful tool, but it's just a tool. It can do the number crunching, it can help with a first draft, but it can't do the human stuff. It can't replace our ideas, our creativity, our gut feelings, or our ethics. Science still needs humans. It needs our curiosity, our integrity, and our sense of responsibility to make sure it's all heading in the right direction.